Hi, if you're in the market for a shark cordless vacuum and you're not really sure which model to go for, then you're not on your own because there are a lot to choose from. At this time of recording there are over 22 models and that range does look to ever increase. So what I want to do is to show you the difference between a lot of the models. Shark have three main ranges of cordless vacuums. You've got the WV range, the IZ range and the ICZ range. So hopefully by watching this video you'll be a lot more educated on some of the features and benefits on the vacuums and which model to look out for. Just before I start, all I normally say is please subscribe to my YouTube channel, just give us a quick thumbs up. What I do is I talk about household appliances, I do specialise in cordless vacuum cleaners and there's normally a bit of tech in there as well. So just give us a quick subscribe, then we'll make a start. Shark do make a range of handheld cordless vacuums as well. These are the designs. So what I do is I'm going to concentrate on the main upright vacuums and then I'll have a look at the handheld models afterwards. So as you have a look at the range of the cordless vacuums that Shark offer, they are completely different in design. Quite a few other brands like Dyson, the look of them and the design are pretty similar as you step up through the range. But what Shark have done is they've just completely gone a different path, and I must say I really like that. I really like that they've gone with completely different designs. So the first range, this is the WV range. They are a very lightweight vacuum, and with these, as far as the weight, you're only looking about 3 kilograms. But what I want to do is just compare things like the weights, the runtimes between all of them. So as I say, on this model you're only looking at 3 kilograms, and this is really what this is designed for lightweight use. If you've got somebody in the household that suffers with things like your arthritis, where you need a lightweight vacuum, then really need to be looking at this end of the market, because what you do find is as you go towards this end, then the vacuums do get a lot heavier. On this model, the IZ, then you're looking around 4 kilograms, so it is a kilogram heavier than the WV model. As far as the weight on the ICZ model, and this one is about 5.5 kilograms. So yeah, I can certainly feel it as I go up as I'm holding these. But for a lot of them, you know, when you're actually using it, then the usability, if it's going to be on the floor, then the weight of it might not be quite as important as if you're using it as a handheld. Runtime is a huge factor in any cordless vacuum. When we're talking to customers in a showroom or through our online chat, then what we find is that the runtime of the vacuum is one of the most important factors when buying a cordless vacuum. Because clearly what you want to do is you want to know how long you're going to be able to vacuum before you have to charge it. So as I mentioned earlier, at this time of recording there are about 22 models within these ranges. So just to give you a brief overview, so in the WV range there are around 6 models at the moment in this range. And the main things that vary are things like the runtime of the vacuums and also the colours, because what Shark do is they do some special edition colours as well. But with this one, so as far as the runtime, this particular model is the WV362, and with this has a maximum runtime of up to 32 minutes. So when I'm talking about runtime, this is the maximum runtime that you can vacuum for before you have to charge it, but it will always be on the lowest power setting. On all of the vacuums, and to be fair on all cordless vacuums, you'll have a high and a low setting, or a turbo button. It does vary depending on the model, and what you'll find is if you go to the higher power settings, then it will drastically reduce the amount of runtime that you get. So as I mentioned, on this one you get up to 32 minutes. Some of the models that are below this, the WV361 models, then you are looking around 16 minutes. As you go to the IZ models, so on this middle design, then what you'll find there are actually 8 models at the moment. So this particular one is the IZ201. This is one of the starting models in this range, and the runtime on this will vary between 40 and 120 minutes. So depending on the model that you go for, it does make a huge difference on the runtime that you get. So it's not necessarily that the battery capacity is bigger. On some of the models you do get several batteries with it. The main advantage of having several batteries is that what you can do is you can, as you're using one of the batteries, then you can actually have a separate one charging. So I do like that idea. So rather than just having one big battery, then you can have several smaller ones. The other advantage is if you have got several batteries, then if one does start to fail, then you're not completely left without the vacuum. And then as you go to the ICZ models, With this design, just to give you an overview, this kind of design is a lot more traditional looking. So if you remember, say, bagless vacuums, even going back 8, 10, 12, 15 years, that's the kind of design where you've got the motor at the bottom, you've got the hose and the handle at the top. Customers like this kind of design. What you'll find is that some people, again, that struggle with the hands or don't want a lot of weight at the top of the vacuum can struggle with that kind of design. They can be a little bit heavier feeling. So although overall that's heavier at 5.5 kilograms, you could find that the overall design and the way it's used is a lot easier. Anyway, as I was talking about, with this model, the ICZ range, you've got 4 different models, and these vary between 50 and 60 minutes, so not a huge variation. The other major thing to talk about is the bin capacity. As you can see here, if you're looking at that kind of design on the WV model, then that bin capacity is going to be a lot smaller than, say, on the ICZ model at the end. And what I mean by the bin capacity is the amount of rubbish and dirt that you can get within the vacuum cleaner before you need to empty it. Now, quite a few manufacturers will have a recommended maximum level. As you can see here, you've got the maximum fill. So, although you can get more in there, what you'll find is if you do start to vacuum any more than that, then you can start to lose suction and performance a bit. A lot of people seem quite interested in the charge time of the vacuums. Now, for me, I suppose I don't view it as being that important, and if I was doing a list, then I'd have it quite a way down the list as to how important it is. I think for a lot of people, you tend to put it on charge and you tend to leave it on charge. But just to give you an idea, that between all the vacuums, and it doesn't tend to vary a lot, it would take between 3 and 4 hours. And that tends to be, for a lot of brands, they do tend to take around 3 to 4 hours to fully charge. What you'll find when it comes to charging, just while I'm on that subject, then they do vary a lot as to how they charge. Just have a look at the individual models, because even some of the individual models do change. Some of them you just have a separate charger that you just plug into the back. With this model, so with the WV model, it actually comes with this base. So as you can see, it's not a freestanding model on its own. So you can't stand this up on its own and it would stay. Which is a comment that people have made, but because what Shark do is they give you this base with it as well, then that's really, really good. Also, it's got storage space at the back for a tool, and you've also got the spare battery as well. As far as this model, the IZ model, on this particular one, it doesn't come with a wall bracket or anything. But with this model, for storage purposes, what you can do is you've got a button at the back, and then you fold that in half. So it just makes it a lot easier for storage, and also it saves it toppling over. So that's something that's very good, and you just clip that back into place. And as far as this model, well, clearly it's freestanding anyway. And as far as the charging, you do get the battery in the side, so you've either got a separate charger for this, or you can just pop that in there and then you can just charge it from the vacuum cleaner itself. As far as the filtration on the vacuums, it does tend to vary a lot. I won't go into detail on what each model has got, but just to know that a lot of the models have got something called HEPA filters, which are very high filtration filters. They can be really good. If somebody in the household suffers with things like asthma or dust allergies, then I certainly recommend looking out for one that's got a HEPA filter. Now, something that Shark are very proud of is something called anti-hair wrap technology. And this is something that Shark mainly started. Other brands have got different designs, but I personally don't think they've mastered it to how Shark have done it. And in a nutshell, anti-hair wrap technology is using this kind of design at the bottom, and what it will do is, in a nutshell, as it says, anti-hair wrap, it avoids the wrapping of hair around the roller brushes. Now, that's something that has been around for years. If you've got animals or family members with long hair, then getting the hair wrapped around it has been a problem for years, and this is really a winner for Shark. But the anti-hair wrap technology is something really to look out for, and on the majority of the models, especially as you go to the IZ and the ICZ models, then it is pretty standard as you go into that range. The other thing to mention is something called DuoClean, and what that means is that's this technology where you've actually got 2 rollers, and what it would do, that really enhances the pickup ability. So rather than relying on a heavy suction, as a lot of the old corded vacuums did years ago, then what they do is they put lots of the technology into the rollers, and that can, as I say, can really enhance the pickup ability of the vacuum. Just to show you, so on the WV range, although you've got the anti-hair wrap technology, you don't tend to have the duo clean, so you normally just have one roller. It's not necessarily a bad thing. What you'll find is that clearly if you have got two rollers, then it is adding weight all the time. As far as the tools and accessories that the models come with, they do tend to vary a lot. Especially as you go up to this end of the range, the IZ and the ICZ models, then you've got things like the crevice tool. There's normally a brush in there somewhere. But the main things that can tend to vary between a lot of the models are something called a turbo brush, and this is a rotating brush. It's normally a small model, and what this will do is this is really good for doing things like the stairs or car. Because it rotates, then it really gets into the carpet or the surface that you're vacuuming on. Now what you'll find at the end of the model number, if it ends in a T, then normally it will include a turbo brush with it. So quite a few of the models will be either UK or UKT, and what Shark have done is they've introduced the T models within the range. But just have a look out, because you could find that the pricing policy that Shark have is a high-low, so you could find that the UKT model could be cheaper than the UK model at a certain time. Something else that can vary between the models is the warranty period. As you're starting off with the WV model, then on the whole they would normally come with a 2-year warranty, but as you go to the IZ and the ICZ models, then on the whole you get between a 2 and a 5-year warranty. Now it's something definitely to have a look out for, because what you could find is by going for one of the models that might be a little bit more expensive, it might come with a 5-year warranty as standard. Now there will always be times where you want to go and use the cordless vacuum, say as a handheld model, and that's normally where you can split the vacuum up into different parts, and you can go and vacuum say your stairs or your car, and the main advantage of that is it just makes it a lot more lightweight and a lot easier to use. So as you start off with the WV model, then you've just got the 2 clips at the top here, and that releases that and it makes it into a little handheld vacuum. So that's really nice and light. As you go to the IZ model, you just press this button and that will release it, and you can use that as the handheld. Clearly, as you can see, it's a much bigger bin, so it's quite a bit heavier than the WV model. And then as you go over to this model, the ICZ model, it's a completely different design, so it doesn't have the same functionality as far as releasing it by just one button to a handheld. But with this model you have got something called lift-away technology. Now lift-away technology is something that Shark have come up with for, well, several years ago, and on a lot of their corded models it's really popular. But with this, so you've got something called powered lift-away on this. So what you do is you take the wand out, and then you've got a lift-away button just on the top here, and what you can do is you can go and use the vacuum like this. And this, I must say, is absolutely brilliant, and I can feel it, that the weight of the vacuum has instantly been reduced. So if you wanted to go upstairs, then you've got the handle. It's a nice easy grip handle, so it just makes life a lot easier. And then to put it back together, that just clips back on there like that, and then you put the wand in. So it's a really good design. I did say earlier I've mentioned the handheld models that Shark make. Now at this time of recording they mainly make 2 designs. You've got this design, which is quite a standard model, and this is just an example of the turbo brush I was talking about earlier. They've also come up with this design. It is quite a unique design, and I must say I really like it. The suction on it is very good. I suppose with this one, this is really designed for like hard surfaces. So for things like kitchen countertops, then this is a really good design. As far as the weight on them, there's really not a lot to compare between them. You're looking about 1.3 kilograms each, so there's not really a comparison there. As far as the runtime, this model had, well, there are a couple of different models. So on this model itself is 8 minutes runtime. There is also a twin battery version, which is 16 minutes. What you'll find, I know some people are thinking, well, 8 minutes, that's not very long, but for this kind of vacuum, this isn't designed as a main floor vacuum. It's not something you're going to be vacuuming for an hour or hour and a half, like some of the upright vacuums. What you'll find, this is really almost like a a spot cleaner, as I would call it. So you just got some crumbs on your surface, just go and grab this and then you vacuum them up and that's it, you pop it back on charge. So I personally think 8 minutes is more than enough for that. And on this model, the CH950, the runtime on this is around 10 minutes. So it's a little bit longer than on this, the WV200. Something else to bear in mind is the bin capacity. I know I talked about it quite a bit on the upright models, but on these two, the handhelds, then it does vary a lot. So on the WV model, this is 0.1 litres, and on the CH model, this is 0.45 litres. So a much bigger capacity on this model, and that for some people, that could be the decision on which one to go for. I will just show you this. This is a little charging dock that the WV model comes with. What you will find is that it does come with a couple of tools and accessories as well. So you've got the upholstery brush, and then you've got this is like a duo action tool, so you've got a brush and a crevice tool as well. So that comes with it, and I suppose the idea is that this would normally sit on your worktop, so you can just plug that in, and then when you want to vacuum something, then just go and grab it. So if you're thinking of buying any of these cleaners, then I have provided our website below, just to show you where to get some of the models at competitive prices. So I hope you found the video useful on things to look out for when you're buying the Shark cordless vacuum. It's something I've thought I'd produce because I tend to get asked a lot as to what are the differences between the vacuums. So I suppose just a note, you've got things like the runtime of the vacuums vary a lot, bin capacity will vary, also the weight, so just have a look out for those differences. But all I would normally say is please subscribe to my YouTube channel, just give us a quick thumbs up. I'd normally ask for comments as well, whether it's good or bad about the video, just be honest about it. If I have missed something, so you might have been watching the video thinking I hope he talks about this and I've missed it, then if I have missed it, then just pop it in the comments, then I'll get back to you if you've got any questions on the vacuums. Also, if you have got a Shark cordless vacuum, then let me know what you think about it, whether it's one of the upright ones or one of the little handheld ones. Just let me know what you think about it, because I'd always appreciate the feedback. Thanks for watching.